Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to BNR. It's me, Gene, your host for. It's been a while, where we've done some shows during the day, but we thought, you know what, it's only fair that we come back, we start doing our daily shows again after what was an unbelievable victory yesterday against Atletico Madrid. I thought, you know what, it's only fair we speak about certain footballers who I thought yesterday were unbelievable. The two that I'm going to speak about are our Dutch masters, Ryan Gravenberch and Virgil van Dijk. And you know what? First and foremost, guys, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. But yeah, guys, here we are. Liverpool have done it again. That's 5 out of 5, 100% record this season. And another late goal. There's always drama when it's Liverpool, especially this season. People have called it Arne time and all that. We call it slottage time, and it was an unbelievable experience again for us Reds. We are the envy of every other football club right now because they're probably sat there waiting to see what's going to happen with Liverpool. They're probably sat there thinking, is this going to be Liverpool's downfall? When are they going to break down? When are they going to draw a game, let alone lose? And yesterday, when it went to 2-2, they were all probably ready to have a go at us, probably ready to say, right, this is the moment where we can go for Liverpool fans, blah, de, blah. But little did they know that we have an unbelievable captain and an unbelievable leader in Virgil van Dijk, who yesterday I thought was imperious at times. He leads by example. And just sometimes you just know that he is the difference. When you've got world-class talent like him in your team, you always have a chance. But yeah, Liverpool 3, Atletico Madrid 2. I'm not going to lie, I predicted a 4-2 Liverpool win. I had a feeling there'd be goals in this game. And there was, and it should have been 4-2 if Ekatike didn't miss that chance at the end. So fair play. I think I did pretty well with my prediction. But what an unbelievable start to our Champions League campaign. And yeah, look, I think, you know what, I'm going to start with Virgil van Dijk because I think our captain, our leader, has simply been imperious. You're talking, and I mentioned it in the show yesterday, Virgil van Dijk is the greatest defender to have ever played the game. He has been that good of a player since he's come, especially since he's been at Liverpool Football Club. At 34 years old, he is still by far the best defender on the planet. And then if you go look at his performance yesterday, when you needed him most, he gets up and gets us a goal as well. Let's just bring up a few of his stats yesterday because I thought Virgil van Dijk yesterday was just on a different level. Where's it gone? Not that one. That was thinking he's right. I got this data from Data MB, so big up to them. He goes, Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool, age 34 versus Premier League centre-backs. If you're looking at aerial duels is number one. Aerial duels, number one. Interceptions, one. Forward passes completed, one. And aerials duels, one. In regards to percentage, he's second. He's simply been on a completely different planet. And there was question marks at the start of the season. First couple of games, he looks a bit lethargic, he looks a bit slow, his reaction isn't there. But little did we know over the last few games how he's and I thought he actually played decent bar the one game against Bournemouth where I thought he could have done better with one of the goals. But what an unbelievable captain and an unbelievable leader we have. 34 years old and still being able to, come first in, his aerial duels, interceptions, and especially his forward passes. Asim mentioned on yesterday's shows that the amount of times that we have seen Virgil van Dijk play an unbelievably acute pass towards Gravenberch, especially yesterday, was unbelievable. And the way, he carries himself when he's playing for Liverpool as well. You just know he demands 100% from every single footballer, and he's simply been irresistible for Liverpool this season. And when you need him most, he turns up. I checked a stat out that since he's been at Liverpool, in terms of headed goals, I think he was sixth in all time. You're talking strikers as well now. There was players like Harry Kane I think who's got a couple more than him. Lewandowski, and I think there's one or two more for forward, but they were all forward players. And then Virgil van Dijk on his own stands there with them. He stood next to forward players in terms of his goal ratio. I think he's got 25 headed goals since he's been at Liverpool. And I just can't speak highly about this guy. He's been on a different level. And I can't honestly, I'm just in awe of this footballer. And he is the most important player at Liverpool Football Club. Yes, you can, and I've always been saying Salah, if I'm honest with you, but Virgil van Dijk is the most important player for Liverpool Football Club. Virgil van Dijk, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best centre back in the world right now. But honestly, I genuinely believe he's the greatest centre back I've seen in my lifetime, because he's been that good. And to prove it at the highest level every week, even at the age of 34, when players people have been, oh, he's not the same. Virgil van Dijk keeps proving every single one of us wrong. What an unbelievable captain that we have. And I know he's got 2 years left on his contract, including this one, and I hope he's here for a lot longer. And Jamie Carragher mentioned yesterday that, in terms of Liverpool, there's there's legends. We have legends that are, that did unbelievably well for Liverpool Football Club, might have won a title, might have won a Champions League. But then there are players that are remembered for the rest of our lives. Players that we will speak about in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time. Virgil van Dijk is, and he mentioned that Virgil van Dijk is in that category. When you mentioned the likes of Hansen, Dalglish, John Barnes, and he's definitely in that category. I think the two players that in our generation, well, three, is probably Steven Gerrard, Mohamed Salah, and Virgil van Dijk. They're the three that walk in it, that are in that conversation of the elite legends that have played for this football club. And look, what can you say? Just on the player is on a different level. He just carries a different aura. Even in terms of, when you're trying to sign a player, when Virgil van Dijk picks up the phone and has a conversation with you, you want to play for that footballer. You want to play for the best centre back in the world, and you could tell that he's had conversations with Alexander Isak. Even if you turn back the clock and remember the final that Liverpool lost, just that little the eyes that he gave Isak at the end. Honestly, what a player we have, and what a winner we have. And I'm absolutely buzzing. And just another stat that I want to show, and I don't think not sure if you guys can see it. And it's basically aerial duels 1/90 against aerial duels 1%. Virgil van Dijk is on his own. You see players like Tyrone Mings, Lacroix, Dan Burn, De Ligt, and these guys, Tarkovsky, that are all around here. But then you've got the best in the world just on his own, sat there on a different scale to anybody else in the Premier League. He's just on another level compared to anybody else. And I honestly adore the footballer. I love him. I think he's just on a different level compared to everybody else. And I just hope that he's here for a long, long time. Gerard goes, Virgil van Dijk, Ballon d'Or charger. Look, if he carries on the way he's playing, and if he can deliver us a title, and I think you need to win a Champions League to really have a shot at the Ballon d'Or. If he goes on and does this, then make no mistake, there will be shouts for Virgil van Dijk trying to win the Ballon d'Or. And even Kirat goes, he's the most complete defender ever, best to ever play. Look, if you look at his physique, the way he's built, if you had to build the perfect centre back, Virgil van Dijk is him. He has every single characteristic to be the perfect centre back. Height, colossal, plays beautiful football, 60-yard balls, intricate balls into the midfield. He never dived in. Other players used to shit their bricks at the sight of looking at Van Dijk. And I'm sure we've all seen clips of him looking at the defender's eyes when they're trying to take him on. He absolutely strikes fear into the heart of forwards trying to attempt a one-on-one attempt to go past him in a one-on-one situation. But what an unbelievable player, and I really cannot wait to hear him hopefully lift the Ballon d'Or if that is possible. Charles goes, VVD is the Maradona of defenders. People, it is a joke saying Maldini is better than VVD. I'm not gonna lie. I watched a lot of Paolo Maldini because I was a huge Italian football fan, and I thought Paolo Maldini was the greatest defender I've seen in my lifetime, and he was. But right now he's second because there's nobody like Virgil van Dijk. Nobody in world football is I've seen in my lifetime that is close to Virgil van Dijk. He's on a different level, on a different stratosphere, and he's the GOAT. He's the best ever. And if anybody tells you it's Vidic or Rio or anything like that, they don't understand the game. They don't understand the game. He might not have the trophies that these certain players had back then, but in terms of actual attributes and in terms of defending capabilities, nobody touches Van Dijk. Literally nobody. But in terms of the performance yesterday's, look, it was again Liverpool do it the hard way. Again, we score at the end. It's not luck, it's the Liverpool way. This is what we do right now. This is what we are. We do what we want, and this is exactly how we will continue to play now. Look, I don't want us to be giving us heart attacks every week, but this is what it's all about. You have to find a way, and Liverpool at the start of this season, all they've done is find a way to win football matches. And I'm not gonna lie, it's impressive that we're able to do this because in previous years we could have drawn that game against Burnley, but we found a way. We could have drawn this game against Atletico Madrid, who are famous for suffocating teams, who make it so famous for making it difficult. Yet we found a way. And look, when I look at the whole team in terms of how we played, I thought we played well. Look, for two deflected goals. The first one shouldn't have even stood. It was a goal that in the Premier League that would not have been a goal. 100% there would not have been a goal. And then the second one, bloody hell, just came off Alexis McAllister's foot, and it just went and it flew in. So you can't really compare with that with what happened yesterday. But it is what it is. We will still move on. We will improve. The team will improve, and we saw yesterday that this Liverpool team, there are a lot of players that will improve, that will get better, that will show what they are all about. And yesterday, when I look at the actual team itself, we saw obviously Alexander Isak made his first start. I thought Alexander Isak, when he got a touch of the ball, I thought Alexander Isak was really good. The way he caressed the ball, the way he played a couple of 1-2s, he linked up pretty well when he could. That we saw that intricate play with him and Wirtz that nearly led to a goal. And Florian Wirtz yesterday was probably his best game for Liverpool. I saw signs in him that I thought, you know what, I like this player, that silky, small little touches that he makes it look easy. And you just know that Florian Wirtz is going to turn up literally soon. When he turns up, we are going to see a completely different Liverpool team. Completely different Liverpool team because he's that good of a footballer and he's beginning to play. Game by game, we're beginning to see how good he is. We're beginning to see his intelligence. We're beginning to see that he's a proper 10. He's just his little deft touches. You can see it's coming and it will come. And a shout out to Salah, to be fair, because Mohamed Salah, I'll be honest with you, I thought at the start of the season has been absolutely shocking at games. And yesterday was the first time where I thought, you know what? Mohamed is back. Mohamed is back. The way, again, he received the ball, his touches, 1-2s, he was finding his man. And I liked what I saw. And it felt like, you know what? He's beginning to click a little bit with this forward line. We saw, obviously, with his goal, which I thought was fantastic. A great 1-2 with Gravenberch. Showed his strength. Showed, being able to shrug off a few players and then, get the goal. And obviously he got an assist as well at the same time. So what's that? 5 GAs for Mohamed Salah in 5 games. And he hasn't even started play. He's only played well in 1 game. And that was yesterday. But I think it's only fair we speak about one man. And that is Ryan Gravenberch. Because honestly, Ryan Gravenberch, yesterday and the games that he's played for us this season has been irresistible. He's been on a different level. He's been the best 6 in the world right now. I'm not just saying that. At the start of last season, for the first 5 months, Ryan Gravenberch was unbelievable. Then he had a drop off, of course. Look, he never played as many games as he did for Liverpool or any other team. over the last few years because he wasn't in the team at Bayern Munich. And then, he's the season before that, we saw he had injury issues, came into the new league. But yesterday, I just thought he just took the piss at times. And look, we all know what his key characteristics are, the way he's press resistance, the way he secures the ball in tight spaces, and the way he carries us, his progressive passing, his progressive intelligence, how he's able to beat a man. And that's what I love about Ryan Gravenberch, the way he receives the ball and in a two-punch can change direction, go past a man, and then with his direct runs can hurt the opposition. And the amount of times we saw his dribbling ability yesterday, it really, really stood out. And, I love watching the guy play. He just glides through the midfield at times. And he just, and Syed says he goes, Grav just oozes class. And that's what he is. Gravenberch oozes class. He's a phenomenal footballer, a proper footballer who can receive in tight spaces. Even if with like a team like Atletico, we all know they're a side that are pretty aggressive. They like to go gun ho. In terms of intensity. But Ryan Gravenberch was just a class above everybody else out there yesterday. He showed composure in that midfield when we needed. And look, he played that one, got an assist yesterday as well with his 1-2 for Salah's goal. And I was really, really impressed with him. And it's crazy because from a number 6 perspective, he's probably at times when he's able to beat the man and he beats the press, he's probably one of our most creative players in a sense of players that can hurt the opposition, because when he goes past you, he's on. He's gone past a player. Now he's running towards your back 4 or back 5, if you want to call it, because that's how good of a footballer he is. And he picks up these clever pockets at times. He's just, and sorry, not just his clever pockets. The one thing that stood out for me yesterday was his physicality. I remember that there's a point in this game where I think he just won the ball off somebody, and it was a 50-50 ball with somebody, and he just shrugged him off like that. Don't know who the player was, and he sent the player flying. That just goes to tell you in terms of how he's in terms of dueling abilities defensively, he's been fantastic. And honestly, I'm just buzzing with the way I'm seeing this player transform from what we saw of him 18 months ago, where he couldn't really get into the side when he was coming in the Jurgen Klopp side. There was times he was playing on the right hand side of an A or the left hand side of an A, and it just wasn't gelling. But since Arne Slot has been here since last season, this guy has been a revelation. And honestly, I love the way he's brave. He's just brave. He shows bravery when he receives the ball in possession. The way he helps us, takes them, maintain attacks in terms of going forward. I can't honestly, I'm just buzzing that we have number one, a footballer like him at the football club, because he's just a joy to watch. He really is a joy to watch. And people are mentioning his defensive traits. Syed again goes, he's improved massively defensively as well. His awareness has gotten way better than becoming than of a 6. Kirat goes, his tackles are so clean and he's so complete. Just needs unlocking shooting a bit more. Look, when he gets into that final third, when he beats a man and gets in and around the box, normally he does tend to keep possession. Of course, look, if he's he does have a shot on him, because we saw that against Newcastle this season when he got outside the box, he knocked it off and scored a brilliant goal. And scored a brilliant goal. So that just goes to show that Ryan Berg has all these characteristics in his locker, and he's still going to improve. He's still a young lad. And if you look at his framework, he's 6'3". He's imposing. He's not small. He's got these dangly legs. He's winning his duels. He's shrugging off challenges, and he's beginning to show athleticism, which we haven't really seen from Gravenberch over the last couple of years. And now he's becoming a man in that midfield, where a player when you go into a midfield and Gravenberch is sat there with the Dominic Szoboszlai right now, because them two are our two main midfielders right now, especially with McAllister being obviously not fit, number one, and he needs game time. He needs to get fit. He needs coming back off an injury. But these two, if you look at that midfield, you see Dominic Szoboszlai and Virgil and Ryan Gravenberch, both 6 foot, imposing, footballers, technically very, very good. They've got the legs in Dominic Szoboszlai, who I thought was fantastic yesterday. And then you've got the guile of Ryan Gravenberch. That is a formidable midfield. And then you've still got the likes of Curtis Jones that needs to come back. We've still got, who I still believe, and people might disagree with me, but McAllister for me is still our best midfielder. He's just nowhere near fit, number one, and he's lost of form. But make no mistake, McAllister will come back, and McAllister will want his place back. But it's an unbelievable good problem to have, where we've got world-class midfielders challenging every game to try and get into this midfield. We might have to play Dominic Szoboszlai sometimes on the left-hand side, sometimes in a 10, sometimes at right back, to make sure that we've got all these characteristics in this actual team. But I was so impressed with Ryan Gravenberch. And even, to be fair, you saw the start of the season when we played against Bournemouth. We missed him. We really, really missed his guile, we missed his intelligence, we missed his positional play in that actual six. But since he's played, he's been fantastic, literally fantastic. And honestly, I'm just buzzing that number one, he's a Liverpool player, and we literally took a player out of Bayern Munich who wasn't even starting for them and transformed him into one of the best sixes in the world. In terms of ball playing and in terms of players on the ball, there isn't a six in world football better than Ryan Gravenberch. Sorry. There isn't a six in world football better than Ryan Gravenberch. Look, in terms of defensively, there's some question mark. You could probably name me a couple more number six who are probably a bit more combative, like a Caicedo or somebody like that. But on the ball, he's on a different level. He is on a different level. And to play against a team like Atletico Madrid at Anfield and be arguably our man of the match with who I thought Dominic Szoboszlai was amazing yesterday, and especially with Van Dijk, especially with him getting the goal, it just goes to show how far Ryan Gravenberch has come, especially over this period, because I just adore the footballer and he's only going to improve. Hasnengo's three unbelievable midfielders. That's exactly what we have. Three unbelievable midfielders. And don't forget, Curtis Jones. Don't sleep on Curtis Jones, because I rate Curtis Jones. Whenever there's times when we need a player like Curtis Jones, he comes in and he does a really, really good job. We saw him come on against Arsenal and literally change the game. So when you've got players like that who can come in and make a difference off the bench, it only bodes well for Liverpool Football Club. And yeah, look, it's looking good. We just need Liverpool to start ticking, and Liverpool will tick, because there's the players that we've got at this football team are too good of a footballer. Salah yesterday turned up. We've got Alexander Isak who's just come in. He'll need a few games, he will start. Then you've got Florian Wirtz who's beginning to find his feet. McAllister hasn't found his feet yet. Kirkes isn't 100% ready. Frimpong, who I thought had a really, really good game yesterday. Defensively, I thought he was sound. And that was a trait of his that we were all sort of questioning, because we don't really watch much of Bundesliga, and from the words that we were told that he's not that great defensively. Mate, I've watched Frimpong play defensively this season for Liverpool. When he's played, I've had no issues with him. I've literally had no issues with Jeremy Frimpong playing in a four at the back for Liverpool. Asim will come and say in terms of his ball progression, but he's a different type of right back. He's the one that's explosive, who can go up and down the wing. He'll give you the legs up and down. And there was a time where in the watch along there, what impressed me was when he was running back, there was two Atletico players on that left hand side of theirs, and they were coming at us. And you know what? He didn't engage. He waited. He went backwards. He sprinted backwards. And when the ball was played, you ain't beating Frimpong in a race. That's game intelligence. That's defensive cuteness, where he snuffed out the danger, and he knew when to engage and when not to engage. And he chased the guy back, won the ball back, and got us possession, so we could sustain another attack. But honestly, I'm impressed with Frimpong, with what I've seen. And I've got no issues with him defensively. This Liverpool side is only going to improve. This Liverpool side you will see that once the big boys come together, you're going to see a completely different team. And regarding Alexander Isak yesterday, I thought it was a good cameo. I thought it was a good cameo. He had a good was it 55 minutes? We saw his link up play with Verts a couple of times, nearly scored with a couple of pop shots, but we saw the class, we saw his touches. He's going to be, we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun. And I think that's the most important thing that we need to understand, that Liverpool are going to have fun watching this forward line, because it is scary. It really is scary. The only look, I don't want to sound like I'm having a go at Cody Gakpo here, but um, because he's had a decent-ish start to the season. But I just feel as though that there's a disconnect when he's on that left-hand side. Whether that's um, an instruction from Slot, I don't know. But on that left-hand side, it just feels like he's not involved as much as I want him to be involved. In terms of intricate play and all that type, and I know he's not. That's not his game. He's not really going to go on the outside. He's always going to come inside, and he did that a couple of times yesterday. But if we can get Cody Gakpo playing well, um, at like when he was at his peak last season, and then seeing the likes of Isak and Verts and Salah, turn it on, we're going to be an unbelievable side going forward. And look, people are mentioning, Charles goes, Rio needs to be a starter. We still have to be careful, man. He's still saying he just turned 17. Cody Gakpo is our number one on that left hand side. Of course, we will see Florian Wirtz and other players play there. We saw that yesterday when he came off and Florian Wirtz went to the left hand side and Dominic Szoboszlai played primarily as a 10, and it showed that. I know the game was slightly stretched then, but we did begin to create a few more openings and did begin to create a few more chances. But we're beginning to see that sort of dynamic in this Liverpool side where Florian Wirtz is moving to the left, Dominic Szoboszlai will play, and then we will see this season, because it's impossible. We cannot leave Dominic Szoboszlai out of this team, and I think a fit McAllister walks into this team. That's how we have to see it. A fit McAllister is one of the first names on that team sheet, because arguably he was one of Liverpool's best players last season. He just needs to get with it. And with Cody Gakpo, look, Cody Gakpo is going to have games a bit like this where, what, thinking you need more from Cody Gakpo. We need a bit more from him. But he's a player that will get you goals at times. He turns up, gets an assist here and there, get you a goal here and there when we need it. He has a knack. He has a knack for goals. And on Snane goals, Wirtz looked good on the left. You did. I thought Wirtz, when he went on the left-hand side, looked decent. But I think when Wirtz plays, you need your fullback to bomb on. Number one. Number one. Number two, it does give you a bit more creativity. It's a pocket of space that he likes to, especially in that area, that he likes that area. But he does like to come inside. I'm not a fan of congesting the midfield, because Salah likes to come inside at times as well. And then you've got Wirtz there. There's too many players. We do need to have somebody who's more of a winger. And I get the shouts for Rio, but let's be honest. It's still a bit early. Although I want him to play a few more games, the good thing is his Slot is bedding him in. When he needs to come on, he brings him on. He'll give him 10, 15 minutes, 5 minutes here, there. He's bringing him. He's trying to make a difference. Because yesterday he was up against Atletico Madrid, who had like at least two defenders on him, even when Rio was receiving the ball. So it was difficult. It was difficult in that area, but he showed that he's a talent. He showed that he's got a bag full of potential, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of Rio, especially over the coming weeks. But guys, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. We are on our way to 20k, so this was just going to be a quick half an hour show. I've got I think the lads are on tonight, so we will be going tonight, and I look forward to seeing you all later today. Wait, Vance goes, Gene, this team will click as soon as we go to 4-3-3 instead of 4-2-5 with overlapping fullbacks. I get that shout, but I think, look, this is going to be our formation. This is going to be our tried and tested formation of like a 4-2-3-1 with Wirtz in the 10. In a 4-3-3, if we see Wirtz coming in from the left-hand side, I want to still see in a month's time, I want to give Wirtz freedom. I want him to have the freedom where he's allowed to go where he wants. I want to see that. Ismail goes, are we worried about McAllister? Why are we worried about McAllister? Nothing to worry about regarding Alexis McAllister. He's a winner, man. Alexis McAllister just going through a bit of bad form and going through, and he obviously just come back from an injury. He's not 100% fully fit. We've seen that in the game that he's played. No issues whatsoever with Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister, once he's up, once he's fit, once he's ready to go, you'll see a completely different player in Alexis McAllister. But anyway, guys, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. We will be going tonight, so make sure you join us. We've only got the preview of a massive Merseyside derby coming up on the weekend. But Liverpool is 5 out of 5 for Arne Slottsman this season, and we've started off our Champions League campaign with a massive win. I'll see you all tonight. Take care and goodbye.